What's up, fellow lords of gaming? Welcome back to the channel. So we're jumping in with some more solo leveling rise content today, and we're specifically going to be taking a look at Alicia Blanche. Should you purchase her or should you not? All right, so let's start off with the most obvious thing here is going to be the comparisons between Seo Ji-woo and Alicia Blanche. So I think a lot of people are going to be looking at these two characters for comparison's sakes and basically trying to determine like, hey, I don't really need Alicia. She's a skip for me because I've got Seo. I'm going to tell you it's a little bit of a misnomer. It's a little bit different. They have different utility inside them baked into the skills, and that's something that you have to be observant about in order to understand where the character fits into the game. I think the main thing that most people were looking at immediately when the character was getting released is Cerberus, because that's the game mode that we have. But Alicia has other utility, in my opinion, that might be greater than Seo's in terms of the Battle of Chaos, which was released along with Alicia, and I think done purposely so. So let's talk about the differences. I think the differences are pretty apparent when you look at characters like Emma and Choi. Emma and Choi are almost the same simile of characters basically here, where Emma is a great AoE break type clear character, and she does really well at that job, while Choi is a great DPS boss type target type character, and that's where the similarities lie. Seo is a great break style DPS character for single target effects. Alicia is a great AoE type clear character with no break effects and some other utility to the characters. So let's take a look at her kit so that way you get a better understanding of that. It's going to also give you a better understanding of how you should be building the character as well. So Alicia's skills, the Touch of Winter and then the Frost Arrow, don't really do anything. They're just basic core type attack skills that basically play. But when we get to her basic skills, so these are just basic attacks, her basic skills, Winter Storm, Ice Needle, and then you look at Eternal Frost. These skills have potential on them that are just out this world. So let's take a look real quick what I'm talking about here. So on Winter Storm, you can see here that Alicia applies an effect called Ice Body Armor. She applies this effect to the entire team when they're out there. So this will let you know the kind of content that you're playing Alicia in. You're not just basically popping her in and that's it. You're basically popping Alicia in so that way she can use this ability and apply for everybody. And that Ice Body Armor, pay attention to it because it's really important. She also applies freeze on the target. She has a 30% chance to freeze the targets when she uses this skill. So let's take a look and preview that skill. So you can see here, she summons this tornado. Now, I did find when I was playing the game that this tornado does move. So it is an AoE type skill, but it's also a good like control type skill because it has the ability that it's gonna hit that freeze effect on the target. But the main thing here as well is noticing that she's creating a shield which is equal to 6% of the user's attack. And when the user uses skill, it applies to the Ice Body Armor effect to the entire team. So off of that one skill. So you're starting to see the utility here, right? So it's going to get better for you as well. So you notice Ice Needle just applies an airborne effect, but doesn't really apply anything necessarily. What you're looking at, however, is like Ice Detonation. So this skill is also going to apply Ice Body Armor and freeze type effect on this. Now this one is going to apply to her. It's not going to apply to the rest of the team. It just applies to her, but it's an Ice Body Armor. So that's essentially two skills that she's getting where she's applying this Ice Body Armor to herself or to the team, and it has some type of effect where it's going to help you survive, right? Now you look at Eternal Frost. This one also applies Ice Body Armor. Grants a shield equal to 6% of it. Now it applies to her, not the team. Important to notice that. And it also has the freeze effect on this. Nope. Freeze effect's not on Eternal Frost. It can be applied to Eternal Frost. I forget about that. And then we look at Absolute Zero, which applies the freeze effect. It's her ultimate ability. You're not really going to here, but it's got some good damage on it anyways. 3,100% of the user's attack. It's a pretty damn badass skill, right? So okay, so now you get the idea that between Winter Storm, Ice Needle, and Ice Detonation and Eternal Frost, you're getting these abilities for the Ice Body Armor and the freeze type effects that are going to be applied to a character. It's kind of important to note those, because then when you look at her passive abilities in terms of advancing the character for determining if you are going to pull on Alicia, how many of these pulls should you do. Now, before we go any further, guys, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel to grow and helps me bring you more frequent content on a regular basis. All right, jumping right back in, guys. So you notice here that on her passive detail, it says when Eternal Frost, Winter Storm, or Ice Needle is used, they apply the frost effect to the user. Notice that that's basically the two skills that I talked about: Winter Storm, Ice Needle, get it, and Eternal Frost. Those are going to be applying the ice effect on those, so the frost effect can be applied there. Now, notice that what this says here as well, it activates the core attack. The user's core attack changes to Bitter Cold Spear. So when the user uses Bitter Cold Spear, it consumes frost instances up to 3 times. So you'll see like these 3 little like frost things around her, similar to like Seiyu's things that she basically does, and she'll consume those, and then the Bitter Cold damage is going to increase by 60% per frost instance. So that's basically 180%, so stacks up to five times on the scale, right? So that's really nice. Now, if you look at some of her other abilities, this kind of gets you the idea of where you're going with this. So when the shield is active, increases the user's critical hit rate and crit hit damage. Now, important to pay attention to that, because when the shield is active, well, she's going to be able to apply these shields in a number of ways throughout. So you see that basically it creates a shield right inside here for the ice body armor. Ice body armor creates a shield. So I showed you at least 3 effects where she's going to basically be applying the shield, and they're going to have great uptime if you build into that. So you see where I'm going with this. If you're not, you're a little slow, don't worry, catch up by liking and subscribing to the video, and then we'll jump back in. So okay, so that means that I could potentially have my crit hit rate and crit hit damage up quite a bit for that 20%. So now that means I can hit that 50% cap really easily. I can hit that crit hit damage and get that really up, right? So then you notice as well here, it says when Eternal Frost, Winter Storm, or Ice Needle is used, it applies 1 additional frost effect. So instead of the 3, now you got the 4 effects inside there. And then at A3, you can see it increases the damage dealt to frozen targets. Now I really like this one because we have a similar skill in the Thetis Grimoire that Sun Jiwoo has, where it increases damage dealt to frozen targets by 50%. So that's really cool, right? So notice here, so at my opinion, this is where you as a free-to-play player, depending if you're going to invest in Alicia, you're going to want to probably go, in my opinion, somewhere between A1 and A3, because having that additional frost effect is going to be really nice, but having that additional damage dealt to frozen target is going to be like quintessential to me in terms of like clearing. That's a big number to hit. Now the user's water damage is going to increase by 16%, cool, but then we get the increased Bitter Cold Spear damage dealt by 50%. When Bitter Cold Spear hit, it applies the freeze effect to the target. So that's a nice one to go for, but I think like ultimately the sweet spot is going to be between A1 and A3, but that's really up to you. Like I said, I would really probably say like if it's just me and I'm pulling on a character as a free-to-play character and I really want to pull on Alicia, then I'm going A2 or A3 basically in my pulls. That's where I see it. Obviously going to A5, you're a whale, you don't care, and everybody, you're gonna tell everybody like pull on A5, it's got to be A5, right? But I think most players are going to be either in that pay to play range, or they're going to be in that free to play range. If you're in a free to play range, you're probably just going to go A2, stop it there, whatever. And if you get lucky enough, you'll go to frozen targets as well. So for me, like I said, somewhere between A1 and A3, depending on your scale of play. You're well, you're gonna, it's always going to be go 5. You know what I mean? Like A10, A5, like whatever. So notice again that when we go back to here that this says it's activating the core attack inside the ability. So that should let you know where you're going down. Now you get even more informed about this by just looking at her weapon, because you can see here it increases the user's core attack damage by 10%. Right? Makes sense that you're trying to keep her core attack skills up all the time. So when the ice body armor effect activate, it increases your water damage dealt by 5% for 20 seconds. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds, but you're getting that core attack that can go up to, I think it's 50%. Let's take a look at this real quick. So if we were to go up in her weapons inside of here for max, it's 40% for her core attack damage. So you can see why you want to fucking go up, because you kind of want that skill. Now you have the ability to earn this weapon up to 3 times, I believe it is, from some of the events. I'll show you that in a moment. So you can at the minimum get this to 14% core attack, or 28%, excuse me, core attack damage that you're basically being able to deal and get that water damage going up as well. So let's go back to her real quick though. So like I said, core attack inside of here, right? Core attack is important. So now I've had the skills on preview so that way you can see, and you notice that there's a lot of AoE type effects.
It's inescapable.
A lot of AoE type effects. These are like she's attacking targets and she's causing AoE, and because she has it freed, it's also crowd control. This is different from Sayo. When you look at Sayo's skills, you notice that a lot of these skills is almost like the Mystic or the Striker inside BDO is what I compare it to. And it's single target type DPS type attacks. You notice, you see it like these are not AoE type attacks. These are single target DPS type attacks. Like take her into any one of the gate missions where you have to clear like the special missions, and you'll notice right away like they have some like secondary hits and stuff like that, but most of this is just like single target DPS, where Alicia is doing AoE type damage. So she's crowd controlling and she's doing AoE, and she's providing your team a utility skill in terms of providing them protection, and herself as well with protection through the shield. Take that as you want to, two totally different characters in that regard. So now we get into how you should be building Alicia, and that's specifically looking at, in my opinion, the best set for her is going to be the Dragon Knight Helm set. Or the Solid Foundation, whichever you want to call it. I like calling them by the names that they have, not these bullshit names that they have over here. It's the Dragon Knight Helm set, right? So, because it looks like a goddamn dragon set. But notice that the 4 set effect inside here, it says it increases the user's core attack damage by 18%, and when an attack hit, charges the user's core gauge by 60. So this is cool because it's when an attack hits, she's doing AoE type damage in the first damn place, so it's gonna always be hitting something, and it charges the user core gauge by 60%. That means that your core gauge should be up all the time and basically rotating for you to have those skills up, which is going to make Alicia highly effective. Now what you want to make sure that you do when you build into this dragon set is that you're looking for attack and crit hit rate. That's what she's going to scale off. The other thing that she scales off is water damage. You can get water damage on the bracelets. I don't have one right now for this behemoth set. I'm really going on this effect where the HP conditions changes to 70% because Alicia's is great for the clear, and I've been using her with like Sun Jin Woo, and he easily gets target down to 70%. To be honest with you, I like the behemoth set more than I like the berserk set, because I'm not really keen on my damage decreasing so much as I am keen on like decreasing somebody else to trigger an effect. And to me, this one just like, to me, it's a little bit better. In my opinion, I like that. I like the idea of that one better. So anyways, so she's using the core attack set. Now, could you use other sets? Sure. I think you could use like the hard leather set, for instance, probably be a really good one. You could even potentially go into the almighty Cargolin set, because it's going to be really good as well for like that ultimate skill effect if you get it up and going, which you should be able to. I don't really find any of the other sets to be like necessarily what I would probably put on her. Really, those are the two sets overall that I would probably put on her. So look at those. To me, this is probably the best set. As long as you can get attack, crit hit rate on these, you should be good to go. Those are going to be optimal build sets for her. Attack, crit hit rate on the core foundation set. Now, I think it's important, like I said, again, to go back and help you understand, these are two separate characters. And when they released the content, I think the majority of us was looking at the game mode in terms of, hey, is Alicia just here to help out and clear our encore missions and specifically clear Cerberus? Yeah, that's what she was here for. But she's here as probably a tandem character duo inside here, meaning like this is a water stage. I'm trying to build up my team of 3 basically. So if I'm playing an encore mission inside of here, I want to basically have 3 water element characters that can continue to do damage to them and not have to switch out to a character who's basically doing light damage or something like that. You notice that the Cerberus also has a break state that it needs to pass inside of here. So Alicia's still going to be good for you once Sayo breaks through this, and she's probably going to be able to do some damage quicker, faster than Sayo. She plays a little bit quicker and faster than Sayo, so I like her in that regard as well. She's really quick and really agile, and more like Cha than Sayo is, and she has the ability to freeze Cerberus in place. Alicia has that ability to freeze her in place. Sayo doesn't have that ability, where she can basically freeze Cerberus, allowing you for extra attacks and more damage while you're attacking the character. So once you break through Cerberus's shield, you know, you really don't need Sayo unless, you know, to just do damage there. It's great that the stage is single target DPS there. But I think where Alicia is going to come into more benefit is when you start to look at her in the new stages, which is like Battlefield of Chaos. So Battlefield of Chaos, you're clearing waves of enemies, horde mode. And inside of modes like that where you're clearing waves, guess what you need? You need a character that can do AoE damage. You need a character that can do control. And Alicia's perfect for that, especially on a stage like Barren of Wilderness. So this was activated when we yesterday, but we don't have it right now, where she has the plus up because it's a water-based stage inside of here. So you can look at these and you see, for instance, wave 1 here, it's recommended element to be wind, so you get an increased damage there. So the same thing happens when Battle of Wilderness is open. It's a water element, so she'll receive the bonus overall for that one there. And it's really great when you see her in action compared to Sayo, because she's doing crowd clear control and she's providing your team some buff effects, and they're all out on the field receiving that shield that she's basically getting, and the core attack gauge is just going. I want to be able to show it to you guys, but I can't really right now in the video because it's Barren of Wilderness. You know what we'll do? Let's roll inside here to, you know, it's a win stage. I don't really care. We'll basically pop in it's win, so let's just pop out Emma. I want to take out Emma, and we're going to put in Alicia inside here. So we'll form the team just like this. We'll go in, you can see where my recommended power is overall, and so that way now you can see, like, so Alicia's going to be great because what you're going to see is a lot of the ice effects basically popping on the screen, and that's really the cool thing. Whether you get off the ice attack and the freeze or not is going to be highly dependent upon some things, but yeah, you'll get the idea. So you see the whole team is out right now, right? So pay attention, like you see, like the ice effects are going around the stages, and this is allowing her to effectively control people. It's working in tandem with my Theta's Grimoire, which is really cool. If you look at the skill, she's summoning it quite often as well, so it's like really good. But you notice as well that we all have that buff effect up from the shield. Like all of us, and she's basically getting either to freeze enemies or she's controlling them from some regard. And I'm getting the buff from frozen targets, and she should be getting the buff from mine. Now I don't know if she's receiving the bonus, like if these bonuses stack, like my Theta's Grimoire stacks with her frozen damage, if that happens. But notice how long this damn shield's been up. It's been up quite the whole entire time, if you've noticed that. Because you're building into that core attack, which means that she's probably consistently getting that off because my core attack is so damn high. Do you see what I'm talking about here? Whereas opposed to if I was playing Cerberus, for instance, with just Alicia, she's going to have that ability to do the break damage, obviously, which is really important for the shields and stuff like that, to get that down. But in a stage like this where I have to do AoE clears, Alicia is going to probably be the more presence that I need more than Sayo, who's going to be doing single target DPS. So just take that in mind. It's not the same character. It's not the same thing. Do they probably deal similar and comparable damage? Sure. I think, like, you know, if you build out one, then you're probably going to see that they have a little bit higher in that regard, but sure. Now, the other thing about Alicia is that there's going to be a couple of ways that you can receive her weapon, and it's going to be the same ways that you was generally receiving them from the Cha event. You've got the capsule draw event, where basically drawing on this or completing any of the missions, clearing instants, clearing gates, are going to give you draw tickets inside of there. And once you complete those draw tickets, you can basically make rolls, and as long as you continue to make rolls and fill up the list, then you know you're going to end up with more and more of these weapon designs, which should net you at the very minimum just the one here, and probably, like, I think with Cha I got an additional one as well. Other than that, you can also participate in the Alicia Blanche growth tournament, which is basically going to, you know, ask you to level up SR and SSR characters, and you'll get the most points for leveling up and advancing Alicia. And if you notice at the end of that, you're going to have another one. So at the bare minimum, you should, from the events, be able to get her core attack, right, from her weapon up to about 28% from there, which is a really nice roundabout number for the character in terms of getting up. And then, you know, if you want to craft additional ones because you want to take her into more, then you can do that. So Alicia, to finish out, does have a uniform as well. I love that they added this system support shop, which basically tells you things over here, and it nets me five essence of dimension just for looking at it. I literally just like canceled this thing out multiple times, and it'll keep popping up and telling you like, hey, you want 5 more essence of dimensions. I wonder how many times it'll go for. But anyways, so Alicia does have a costume pack available as well, just like Cha, inside the shop. So for $21.99, you can purchase the uniform inside of here. Get yourself 10 additional copies, and you'll get 10 weapon designs along with her icons and so forth. This is an interesting pack just because they did something that I'm a little baffled on, which is the step-up summons. So inside the step-up summons, they didn't refresh these. It's just purchased. So the step-up pack that was here before, I thought the step-up pack was specifically geared around you basically wanting to pull additional pulls for like Cha and the character. I feel like they missed out on an opportunity here by introducing a more rate up draw step up bonus pack for Alicia. This should have been added, in my opinion. Like refresh. I get it, whales are gonna whale, but this is really a single player game. The rewards inside of some of those events, they're not that damn good that you should be feeling like you're competing against other players and racing against them either. This is just for your enjoyment pretty much. But I would have liked to see them, especially as like a little bit of a pay to play, well, a little bit, I would have liked to see them reintroduce this rate up draw for those, but they didn't have them. I don't know what they were doing. She also has her weapon shop inside of here where you can purchase an additional copy for 3,900 crystals. This one might be on a little bit more of the expensive side since we don't really get the diamonds from anything inside game. You can only really get these from purchasing, so it's like a transition of currency. I'm not exactly sure how beneficial that one will be to the majority of players. So like this is like a slow suggestion. The next up thing that I noticed was that inside the bonus parade, they didn't add anything for her either. I was like really confused about that because I was expecting, like, you know, I get it. I was expecting though to see, you know, something here. I think they really should change this so that way we basically get like maybe a costume at the end of these purchases or something like that. Now they did avail you to you know, basically draw 4 and you get additional 10 tickets there, so you can make those pulls for her there. And then even in the parade event, there's nothing specific to the character inside of here either. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. I feel like there was more for them to do that they just didn't do in terms of getting us to draw more copies of Alicia. My suggestion would be that if you are currently playing the game, Alicia is a pull. If you're free to play, she's a pull. If you're pay to play, she's a pull. If you're a whale, you're gonna pull. But because she has a different value in her utility than Sayo does, I think that she's gonna be a great addition, and she's gonna make clearing Cerberus easier, but she's gonna also make other game modes a lot more easier because she's an AoE type clear character. So where those water instances are used, specifically gates, specifically power, well, maybe not power destruction, but Battlefield of Chaos and even some of the Battlefield of Times, and most definitely inside the Battlefield of Trials. So 100% in my opinion, pull on Alicia, A1, A3. You kind of get the idea of the build. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help me bring you guys content. Help me out, guys. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. It really helps out the channel a whole lot. Until next time, guys. Peace.